This video has been sponsored by CYBERBOT.com. Thanks to CYBERBOT scooters for making this video possible. Without sponsors like this, it would be really hard to create content. I'm not getting paid by CYBERBOT scooters and they do not have influence over my content. I'm not getting any revenues from the sales of these scooters.
At night was born to find mythical, so mystical, think what you like. You could be the sword, the shield, defender of the people down below. You know I fall for love. You know I fall for love. You know I fall for love. Be kind to those around you. Don't be Perseus.
This is CYBERBOT Mini. Yes, Mini, electrical scooter from CYBERBOT Scooters, who kindly agreed to sponsor today's video. I guess the only reason this scooter is called CYBERBOT Mini because on their website they have some bigger ones like the Titan or the GTR and some other ones. The scooter comes packed in a double cardboard box, which I recommend to cut at the bottom so that you can easily slide it all up or down. I don't know, slide it some way. So content of the box look rather standard. You have user manual, you have not so standard toolkit, and there is a charger which is rated for 45.6 volts. So this is 48 volt scooter, and you have a hose for tire inflation. Let's try and put it up together. So we need to just unscrew this knob, put the handlebar up and screw this back in. The folding mechanism is sturdy and really straightforward. The next thing you have to do is install the handlebars, and afterwards find the right position for the throttle and the LCD display and fix it in that position. This is it, you're set to go. The scooter is 115 centimeters long, the deck is 25 by 49 and the ground clearance without the rider on the scooter is around 15 centimeters. From the floor to the top of the bars around 1 meter 21 and from the deck to the top of the bars is around 1 meters. When you fold the scooter, the highest point is at almost 50 centimeters and the bars are 58 centimeters wide. Don't let the name Mini fool you. As you can see, comparing to a normal city type of scooter, there is nothing really mini about it. And the only comparable thing, that's actually 8.5-inch tires like on the many city scooters. So while these tires are small, they perform much better. Not only because they are wider, but also because they have fantastic grip on all kinds of surfaces. But for the time being, enough talking about the scooter, let's go and test it both on-road and off-road and see what it's worth. Alright, so first things first. Knowing you guys very well, I believe that the very first question you will ask me, what is the top speed of the scooter? So let's try and measure that with the GPS. and let's see how far or how fast can we go on the scooter. I see the speedometer is showing 53, which is the rated maximum speed, 54, 55. On this specific run, we managed to get 56 kilometers per hour. That's 3 kilometers per hour more than in the specification of the scooter. I did a couple more runs and the results were consistent. I was reaching 56-57 kilometers per hour depending on the direction of wind, etc, etc. Honestly, it's more speed than I need on an electrical scooter. I will never ever ride it on this speed. I just want to do it for the testing purposes. I don't need the speed. I'm happy with much lower. So let's try and switch the second gear. The scooter has 3 speed modes. On speed 1, theoretical maximum speed that you can achieve is 34 kilometers per hour. In speed 2, it's 45 kilometers per hour. When I ride it, it reaches 43. And on speed 3, if you go all in, depending on your body weight, you could go 82 kilometers per hour. As you saw with me waiting 85, I stopped at 56, probably 57 kilometers per hour. If you're a really lightweight rider, this is what you can expect going on speed 3. Let's talk about the acceleration. When the scooter arrives, it comes on the acceleration set on average. I didn't know that at first until I discovered the parameter menu. So you can change the parameter 12 going from standard 3 into 5. And then the acceleration of the scooter is just crazy. It's really, really great. Take a look at this. It's definitely enough acceleration for learning those wheelies and manuals and overall having fun on the scooter. The other thing that I really like about the scooter is the efficient brakes. Both front and rear disc brakes are really effective and you can block either front or rear wheel really easy. So you need to be actually careful about that when you drive on high speeds. For the suspension, I will give like 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 maybe. And the key reason is if you're rolling on the regular roads, if you want to take like, off-road, go through the grass and so on, that suspension will perform like 10 out of 10 for you. I'm not the lightest rider, I'm 85 kilograms, so probably around 90 with the gear and so on. And suspension works pretty damn well. The only complaints I have is if you go for bigger jumps like, pump tracks, dirt jumps, something like that, the front one, it absorbs the shock, but it also bottoms out very loud. That sound. What's interesting enough is that if I land the tail heavy, meaning I bang the crap out of the rear suspension, it doesn't make the bottoming out sound. Might be there is some defect, I will need to take a look at that, but that was my first impression. The front suspension, it works very nice, but it makes disgusting sound when you really push it to the limits. I don't see this as a big problem because in normal riding conditions, suspension works flawlessly without any extra sounds and it gives really comfortable and good ride. The next thing I want to talk about is the tires. The tires are perfect. The only downside of the tires is that they make a little bit more noise on the flat roads, as you might have heard in the speed test, But that's what you should expect out of any off-road like tire. And these tires for off-road are fantastic. We have ridden them on sand, on concrete, on asphalt, on any surface, and even on wet in the rain. I couldn't really make them slip. That's fantastic performance of the tires.
So the good thing about those tires that they have fantastic performance, like even on the loose sand. I'm now wiggling and wobbling my scooter without pressing the accelerator. So it looks like it should be easy to slip, but try and make this tire slip. It's nearly impossible.
On the side of the scooter, underneath the deck, there are two buttons. The top of one will turn on and off the tail and headlights, and the bottom one will make it drive in two-wheel drive mode or rear-wheel drive mode only. As I'm going now for a long trip out of the city, I will use only the rear motor of the scooter in order to save some battery and get some range in.
On top of that, I will not only be using only one motor, but I will also use the speed mode 1, meaning the scooter will not drive faster than 34 kilometers per hour. So that's the plan, to save the battery. Now let's go for a ride.
When I run the scooter on a speed 1 and one motor only, the speed is around 28-29 kilometers per hour going downwind and 26-27 kilometers per hour going against the wind.
So I have now done 25 kilometers and a half, and the scooter is still going at the same speed, around 28 kilometers per hour on the first gear. Maybe it was going 30 when it was just freshly charged, but 28, it's a decent speed for a longer trip when you want to save battery. Oh, we're getting some rain right now, guys. Ah! Fuck, I'm soaked.
I'm back home. You can probably not see this, but we are at 31.2 kilometers and I still have 2 bars out of 5 of battery left. And if we look at the voltage, it's 46.3 volts on the battery pack. So probably I have like 5 kilometers more in or something like that. After a long trip like this, you will need to charge your scooter. And as you can see right here, there are 2 charging ports. If you charge your scooter with one charger, which is, by the way, rated for 1.5 amps only, it can take quite some time. But if you have 2 chargers, you can plug both of them here at the same time and you will reduce this time twice. You could also buy like 2 amp charger and even further reduce the charging time, so it can be as low as 3-4 hours or something like that. After riding the scooter in different conditions, let's try and sum the things up, see what pros and cons have I noticed. So CYBERBOT MINI. The very first thing that left me with extremely positive impressions, these were the tires. They grip on everything and everywhere, and I really would like to have such tires on all of my electric scooters because they perform just fantastically well. The second thing that I really like about the scooter is the brakes. They are really effective and efficient. You can block the wheel if you want. You can also modulate the brakes so you don't block the wheel. The electric braking power is combined with mechanical one and you can stop in no time. Just don't forget to squat down, put your body weight back, because if you just grab on both brakes while standing up, you will probably go over the bars, so watch out for that. The third thing that I like about the scooter is the suspension. I know I mentioned that I would rate it 7 out of 10 just because of this extra clinky noise which I get when I bottom the front suspension out. It doesn't happen with the rear one. I hope I can find the fix. So that's the only tiny drawback which I only hear when I really abuse the scooter very much. On normal riding conditions, I don't hear the suspension. It just does the job perfectly. It bounces up and down. It absorbs all the bumps on the road. I feel in control when I ride the scooter. And overall, having good tires, good brakes and good suspension gives this pleasant and stable and solid feel of the ride. And then of course I would say both motors and the battery pack is well balanced for this scooter. The scooter is kind of a heavy, almost 30 kilograms, but it accelerates pretty fast with two 500-watt motors. And the battery pack is sufficient for you to go and have a blast on the beach or on the pump track or on some off-road trail, or ride around the city if you want, just switch to one motor mode, go for a longer trip. So I think these components fit the scooter really, really well. Now the last but the most important positive is the value for money. This scooter is for sale for $1,100 US. I will put the link down in the description below where you can buy it, and I will put also the discount code so you can get it $60 cheaper. And $1,100 US, that's 930 euros. I will now put you a list of components which I installed on my M365 to make it double suspension, double motor scooter, and you will see that this scooter has extremely great value for money. Most probably my M365 will end up being more expensive than this scooter. And while it's more expensive, the suspension is worse, the tires are worse, the controllers are overheating and burning. It only has one 500 and one 250 watt motor, and it's just not a comparable scooter. This one gives me so much more pleasure to ride, and it's cheaper at the end than my upgrade Xiaomi M365. I really was abusing and trying to break the scooter as much as possible, and nothing came loose, nothing is broken, and it will probably last for many more kilometers. Now the downsides. The first downside is the lack of cruise control. I was wrong about this one. It's not a downside. There is a cruise control on this scooter. I just had to read the manual again and find the parameter 17. To enter the parameter menu, you just need to press both buttons at the same time, and then you enter the parameter menu. So by clicking the power on button, we get to parameter 17. And you can see now it's set on 1. If you set it to 0, cruise control is off. If you set it to 1, cruise control is on. The second one, I mentioned already that there is this bottoming out sound of the suspension. If you land from a ledge, or you jump on a pump track and land nose heavy, or if you really try to, abuse it by bunny hops or something like that. On normal riding, you will not hear it, but if you try to abuse the front suspension, it will make that extra sound. And the last little downside, that there is only one charger while there are two charging ports. It's not an expensive one to solve, and you might actually not even need it. Honestly, I come back after the ride, I put it on charge over the night, and in the morning my scooter is freshly charged again. But in some cases, maybe you want to drive to your workplace using both motors, more power, so you will drain your battery pack going through the city, and then it would make sense to have two chargers to quickly charge it up and return back home. I had so much fun filming the review of this scooter. I had a blast riding it in different conditions, and I hope that you also enjoyed my video. If you did, you know what to do. Press the thumbs up button. If you want to see more content related to electrical scooters, subscribe to the channel. Welcome to all of my new subscribers, and I see you in the next video. Ouch! It hurts. I don't think this handlebar should be like this. Still working. Still works. And that's the positive. This brake is not looking good. Yeah. Oh yes.
That's all. Goodbye, Mr. 360.
I think you can change
The lens.
they cost a bit, but I think they are changeable. Or at least maybe the model.